Yes, sir. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and we are back at it. Playing a little bit of Forza Horizon 4, man. Taking your requests as per usual. Pulling up to that mansion. No big deal. You know how we do it. But for today's video, if you guys saw the title, you already know what's up, man. But I'm just going to run through the quick list of names of people that want to see this build. Rodimus Prime, Dan79NC, Farian Ken Decker, and Tyler Plays 416 all want to see ya boy Denali, aka Don Squally's dream car build. Now, I love when you guys make these requests because it gives me the opportunity to kind of think outside the box as opposed to just doing a regular YouTuber build. Now, I thought about this for quite some time. I have done dream car builds in the past. You guys know I did that AMG C63 as well as the GTR R34, I believe it was, in the last dream car build. But you guys know me, I am a huge Infiniti / Nissan enthusiast. Actually just picked up a project car for the other channel. If you guys haven't checked the other channel out, go ahead, head on over to the channel. Link to that will be down in the description. But because of that fact, man, I am stuck building now, as we can see here, the Infiniti Q50. This one here is the Ile Rouge, I believe they call it. But now in production, these are the Q50. Comes with a plethora of different motor options. You can get the 3.7, you can get that 3-liter twin turbo. The S model from the factory coming with 400 horsepower, so that is an insane amount of horsepower. Now, the only problem with these cars, in my opinion, is that Infiniti / Nissan, they drop that they drop the manual transmission, I should say, and they only come in automatic. Which, let's be honest, most automatics that come from the factory these days much faster than any standard transmission that you might get. However, it's a little disappointing for car enthusiasts like me who might want a manual experience in the future on one of these more modern builds. Now, with this dream car build, I would prefer that it be rear-wheel drive. Now, I know with the all-wheel drive Infinitis, you can pull a fuse and you can get a little bit of rear-wheel drive action when you want it. But for this specific build, I would like to see this thing complete rear-wheel drive all the time. Not necessarily a drift missile, but definitely a little bit more to handle than you might say your regular all-wheel drive Infiniti. Now, just look at that rear diffuser, man. The lines on this car, absolutely perfect. I really got to say that. So I'm going to skim through a couple of different wheel options here. Really going to take my time with these wheels. I'll let you guys know when I find something that I like. Now, with this car, I want something with a nice lip that still looks nice and tunerish. And I think these Koenig afterburners are going to look real nice on this car. Now, I'm thinking we're going to boost this up to a 21. A lot of cars nowadays with the big wheel wells, smaller wheels really don't look that big on them. And as you guys can see, we are going to go full drift mode, widen up the track of this thing, and that's really going to give us that nice stance. A little bit wider than the side skirts, actually, which I'm liking. I got a feeling that once we lower this thing, the tops are going to kind of camber in a little bit before the meantime. Now here we go, upgrading clutch and transmission. If Forza knew anything about cars, they would know this is strictly an automatic, possibly a dual clutch, not really sure on that. But I mean, as far as upgrading a manual clutch, that's definitely not going to happen on this car unless somebody spends some serious cash. Obviously, big brake kit is going to have to go in there, and we are going to put a nice drift suspension on here. Give us that nice aggressive stance, a little bit of camber. I'm also going to go ahead, put anti-roll bars both front and back. Really stabilize this thing to the ground as much as possible. And we're also going to do a little bit of weight reduction. And now that we got all of that stuff out of the way, now comes for the engine modifications. And I'm not going to lie, if I had a dream car we'd be maxing that thing out, man. I would take this thing to the dyno, buy all of the parts that I could possibly afford for this thing, just to get that extra little bit of oomph from the factory. And like I say, from factory, the S model coming with 400 horsepower, which is quite a bit for an Infiniti. I mean, I do own an '04 Infiniti G35, and from the factory, they came with what was rated at 280. I just dynoed mine 266 wheel horsepower, obviously from the factory, rated more towards crank power. But we are fully modded. We have a 747 kilowatt car here, which is gonna be right around 1,000 horsepower for us. Now this rear wheel drive 1,000 horsepower, this is pretty much where I would want to be. I'm not even gonna lie. Get that beautiful Q50 from factory. Obviously adding some minor upgrades here. We're going to jump into the tuning section next. Now the one thing I want to do is just take care of the suspension, but because it is in drift mode, looks like it's pretty much where I would like it to be, visually anyways. So we're going to go ahead and leave the tuning the way that it is. And last but not least, we need to paint this thing up, because, you know, as much as I really like this red paint from the factory, I think this thing deserves so much more. So I'm going to skim through a couple of different colors here, let you guys know when I find something that I think really suits this car. And I gotta say, I've always been a big fan of either the bright orange or the bright green. When Plastidip first came out and I first got my Altima, I was almost hell-bent on Plastidipping that thing complete orange or like the green. I forget what they called the actual green color, but I just thought that it would look super cool, and obviously over time opted against that. A little bit less of a ricer, but I still do appreciate more so the bright orange than I do the bright green. Really not a fan of the green anymore, but I do think that this orange color is really going to set it off nice for this car. Now, amongst all of the black accents, I'm going to go ahead and throw some white wheels on here just to add a little bit of contrast, make it look a little bit more drift stancy, and obviously tinting the windows. And now that we got all of that stuff out of the way, I think we're ready to save this to the current car and take this thing out on the road. Now, one of the things that I do like about this build is we are rocking still with a Nissan engine. Now, albeit in the Q50, it is, I believe, a 3-liter twin turbo. We're rocking with that R35 engine because if you guys know the Il Rouge, or Il Rogue, I don't really know how to say it. However, it did come with the R35 power plant. So I mean, if that were to be a thing that were to come out in the future, let's say they were to take the Q50, which at this point in time is definitely not handling the way I would like it to. If they were to take the Q50 and dump an R35 powertrain in it and actually make it a production vehicle. Now, I'm pretty sure this was just a concept vehicle for them to release the Q50, the new platform, and obviously they had an abundance of R35 parts kicking around since it had just came out, so it was only fitting. But now that it is in production, like I say, that 3-liter twin turbo 400S model, Red Sport I think they call it, I think that's going to be your highest horsepower that you can buy from factory with the Q50. Now, I gotta say, this thing is an absolute monster. You guys just saw us drifting around that huge roundabout, and it is just banking off of the red line. Hits red line so quickly, even with the cams boosting up that red line to almost 8,000 RPMs. This thing is just an absolute handful. Now, because we do have the drift suspension, I'm hoping that this thing is going to be somewhat okay for drifting. Obviously, when I do these builds online, we get into a situation where I just build a car, you guys watch me build them online, and then first impressions, you know, not just the first impressions, but like me trying to master the car the very first time that I drive it is somewhat difficult. And, you know, when I am making these videos, I'm trying to drive somewhat good so that, you know, it looks good on the camera when I'm driving and doing my videos. But not every time does it go that way, and I feel like this is one of those cars that I'm probably gonna have to take a little bit of time with just to get used to it, and you know, make sure that I can perfect it. As you can see, with a little bit of drift taps here, but overall, man, the engine in this car is just an absolute monster. Makes me wish my new daily wasn't a Nissan Sentra. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. But yeah, man, if you guys haven't gone over, oh my, duffing it, just duffing it. If you guys haven't gone over, come on, Fiat, over to the other channel yet, definitely do so, man. Like I say, just got a Nissan Sentra for the new daily / project on the channel. You guys know that we had the Winter Beater G35 last year, which was a whole lot of fun, but I figured this year I might get a daily that was a little bit better on gas, and just a little bit, it's just going to be different. You guys know we did the Altima, we're big on the G35s and stuff like that. It's just a different platform, and we are going to try our best to just to make the car overall look nice, man. But with that being said, I'm thinking we are probably going to pull off here. As you guys know, around this time we do end up putting an end to the video. Let's go ahead and reset that cosmetic damage, even though there's not much, just a little bit of dirt. And I am going to put an end to this video right now. So as always, if you guys did enjoy this one and you guys want to see more and you're not subscribed yet, definitely do so. We are doing all types of videos like this. And if you guys want to see anything in specific, YouTuber builds, oddball requests, we are going to be, you know, keeping up this trend on the channel for quite some time, so definitely don't forget to let me know what you guys want to see down in the comment section. I'm gonna just finish off here by trying to find a half decent spot. I wasn't really digging that first picture angle there, but yeah, man, as always, I am your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and with that being said, we gonna catch y'all mofos at the next one, man. Peace. Recovery of a lifetime. Oh fuck! Oh no! Oh fuck! Yeah, just keep on rolling there. Yeah. Don't worry about the racer or anything.